So when we're looking at the profit side, I mean, that's very appealing. But in order to get to the actual profits, there's a lot of things and a lot of processes that need to be completed in order for any person to get to a specific goal. And for those outcomes, right? Because goals are basically outcomes, you can't essentially control them when it comes to the market. So you can't control how much money you make. You can control how you trade, what setups you trade, and how much risk you place on each and every single trade. So those are the things that are always going to be in your control. Whether you use a stop or not, that's something that's going to be in your control. And whether you have your risk control measures are in check. Let's say using $1,000 account and you throw in 3 lots on that $1,000 account. That's going to be a bit heavy for $1,000 account, and therefore, if that's a factor that you don't look at on a continuous basis, then it will be evident on the outcome side of things. So it's much better to focus on the outcomes as much as difficult as it might be. If the only focus is how much money I'm actually making, it's going to be very difficult for you to actually gain any sort of consistency. Trust me, I've been through that already. So like I said, I mean, it is quite concerning that I don't get a lot of questions regarding the lot sizing and all of that stuff. But because I do have the videos up on there, I do have a full video. I think there are 2 videos, part one and part two, 45 minutes each, where you can just go through how to structure your trading plan. I think I left a link there as well in the video where you can go in and download a template of the trading plan and actually structure your own trading plan. And it's a very difficult and challenging rather document to complete. And the thing is, most guys won't do it. I mean, I've consistently said that, and I know if I talk to 10 guys this week and like, okay, let's get the trading plan done, probably one or two are gonna get that done. All right, one is gonna get it done properly, and the second one obviously will just need a bit of help. But it's those one or two guys out of the 10 who are actually going to show the most amount of progress. All right. So, like I said, if the trading plan is not there, you don't know what percentage to use in your risk control measures. Essentially, you don't know what kind of trading system you're actually working with, because at the end of the day, if one day you're using candlestick patterns to make trading decisions, the next day you're using, I don't know, Ichimoku, and the day after that you are using Gann. What's this? I think it's Gann or some, yeah, I think Gann, William Gann or something like that. Then you, it's very difficult to have any sort of consistency, and that is definitely not the professional approach. I mean, a lot of guys get the, when I talk about pro being a professional, it doesn't necessarily mean wearing a suit and tie each and every single day, but it's taking your trading serious enough for you to care about doing the necessary stuff that you have to do. All right, not doing it casually, not doing it as a hobby, because a hobby, if you don't go to, let's say one of your hobbies is playing soccer with the guys after work. If you don't go, I mean, it doesn't necessarily change anything with your life, right? If you pitch up with one sock that's green and one sock that's red, I mean, it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to change anything with your life. But if you're talking a pro, let's say a professional international football player goes out with a green and red um, soccer socks or something like that, then obviously that's going to affect something in their lives. They might get fined, they might not play, and that's the sort of like approach that a pro will take. They know that there are repercussions for them not doing the work that they're supposed to be doing. So I generally say if you're not dedicating at least 40 to 45 minutes, let's say 45 minutes, the least you can take is 30 minutes on a frequent basis, because none of this, you don't do anything for 2 weeks and then all of a sudden, boom, on a Sunday, you just plow into everything in one 24-hour session, and you're all fired up because you watched a motivational video or something like that. That is not really going to get you the type of results that I do believe that we're all looking for. But the better approach is to break everything down into smaller chunks. The moment you start breaking things into smaller chunks, they become manageable. Don't put in a big task. Let's say I want to get through all the videos within 1 week. Okay, rather break them down and be like, okay, yes, I might want to get through this amount of video length in this week, but this is how I'm going to do it then. Right, I'm going to throw in, let's say, 20 minutes before work, 20 minutes during my lunch break, and then probably 20 minutes in the evening. I mean, if you can't carve out 60 minutes each and every day from your schedule, I mean, that basically tells me that you're not serious enough for you to be even attempting to use your own money to trade. So, I mean, if you're going to throw in some money, doesn't matter how much it is. I mean, I would believe that if it's hard earned money, you wouldn't want to see it go to waste or just linger around in the markets, just being another, trading account. You want to make some consistent profit off there. So, I mean, that, as I said, I was at the beginning of the session, I did mention my concern, and I hope that you guys are making sense of what I'm saying. So the and I've spoken about this frequently, that a lot of the emphasis on from I actually had a call from my partner. As I said, we actually trade together, but he is actually in a professional trading firm, full time, and we actually get together every now and then. He's in Santon, but right now I think he's back home or something. So we actually had a call, and the way in which we speak is a bit different than how I used to speak with the guys that I was actually associated with previously, because that sort of stuff rubs off on you. He has a professional approach. He had professional training from a professional firm and went on to work for a professional firm managing large amounts of money. I mean, some pretty decent account sizes, but obviously he's always wanted to do things for himself. So when you always talk, when I always talk to him, the biggest emphasis that he's always had is risk reward number one. Okay, risk reward. He has this nice money management model that I've asked him to come through and share with you guys, probably towards the end of January, hopefully. So that's one of his biggest um, things that we consistently have a discussion with. All right. And the second one is, right, so first one is the risk control and sort of like risk reward ratios. And the second one is the trading psychology side of things, which is also one of the least asked topics on. Okay. Because I share a lot of this stuff on the channel, but I've always noticed that the trading psychology side of things, I mean, they get the least amount of views on the channel, and the ones where we're just talking about strategy is that gets the most amount of views. So what you're trying to do is trading is not just strategy. If you just focus on the strategy side of things, you trust me, you will not make it, right? If you focus just on the strategy, no matter how good the strategy actually is, there will be things that will pull you towards the side. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to sort of build a proper foundation that is based upon risk control. Okay. You need to have a proper risk reward ratio within that risk control measurement. And you need to have obviously a good strategy that's going to work. And you need to have a solid psychology, right? Trading mentality. Once you have those three things in check, okay, it doesn't matter how good you are there. You can be average on all three, but if you can do so on all three of them, then you can beat anyone who is just really, really good at the strategy. They know everything about the strategy. They're incredibly good at identifying the patterns because, like I've said before, I know a lot of people who know quote unquote. They know where the markets are going to go. They predict the market, but they don't make a cent out of the market, right? They actually lose money on a consistent basis. You see them draw those lines, those squiggly lines that we like to see. Okay. So you see those lines that they draw in charts, and the market actually does move like that. And when you ask them how much money did you make, they start scratching their head. Okay. Now those are psychological factors that need to be sort of like assessed. And one of the things that will happen once you do that is confidence. Because when it comes to the market, you can never make money if you're not confident. Definitely not. If you're always anxious, if you put in a position, you click buy, click sell, and your stomach starts turning, you know, and you start getting nervous. Should I close it? Should I leave it to run some more? Should I do this? Should I do that? If you're always in the moment and the markets are pulling your emotions this way and that way, then you're definitely going to get into a bit of trouble, because emotions are something that we've had for probably millions of years, and they are very powerful. So your mind needs to be something you control just by developing a few simple things on a day-to-day basis, right? So I mean, I basically lay out everything, right? When it comes to that as well, I lay out everything, some basic exercises that you can do, um, but those need to be followed up by consistency. So what I can say is, because I mean, at the end of the day, the most important thing is to actually make money. As much as some of us might enjoy trading, personally, there's days where I do, there's days where I don't. But I think the most important thing is if, all right, okay, great. Good that you agree with me on that one. So I think there's days where you're going to enjoy it, right? There's days where trading is going to be, it's going to feel good. Typically, those are the days where you're actually making money, right? And there's days that it's actually going to feel worse than whatever day job that you actually have, you know, because it's you emotionalizing and internalizing things. So if you have this thing where when you're making some money, you're exuberant and you're excited and you're jumping around, everyone can see that you're actually making money, then guess what? When you're losing money, the reverse is going to be true, right? You're going to be heavy hearted. You're going to start thinking about, am I good enough to still continue to do this? Is this really for me? Does this whole thing really work? Or am I just a slow learner? I've heard a lot of people say I'm a slow learner, or I'm just the most common one. I'm just not disciplined. So you're going to ask yourself a lot of these questions, and you might give yourself some trashy answers. So what needs to happen from my standpoint, from obviously my experience and a lot of other people's experience that I've taken in, is that you apply certain things, or you have a consistent schedule, right? Developing habits is one of the most important things you can actually do, right? Just like how people, let's say, work, right? You go in through to work 8 a.m., for example. You get there, there's a morning meeting, let's say 1 p.m. is lunchtime, and 4 p.m. you're actually knocking off, or you're just closing up. There's actually a schedule, a pre-planned schedule, where how things actually work, and there are milestones, right? So from my industry where I was in, development, right? So if you developing, let's say, an app, there are certain milestones to check off. Let's say, all right, we've done this part of the app, so that's a tick, right? You're sort of like measuring your progress within the entire project. So you're breaking the things down into smaller chunks instead of trying to bite the whole thing, which is what guys be like. They trying to do just by saying, I just want to be profitable. Okay, that's not going to happen from this, let's say, today, and then you say by next week Monday I want to be profitable. Okay, or I want to make a lot of money. those are both very vague statements and very bad goals. Just want to be rich. I want to be making a lot of money from trading, or I just want to quit my job so I can focus on trading. That's a very bad goal to actually have. It's better than no goal, but it's a very bad one. So everything needs to be um, small. Right? I'd rather you have large, long-term goals, but day to day you need to have those small goals, right? Those things that make you feel good, where if you have a target that says, okay, if I lose 2 trades in a row, then I quit trading for that day, right? That is actually something that you would have in your trading plan, and I have it as 3. So if I lose 3 consecutive ones in a row, I mean, I don't come back. I just chill. I do other stuff. There's a lot of research that I can do. I can sit, I can watch the news. There's tons of stuff that I can actually do. But those are processes that I know if I follow these processes on a consistent basis, then this is the sort of outcome that I'm actually going to get. It's sort of like being given the 10 commandments and saying, if you follow all these 10 commandments, you are going to heaven. It's guaranteed that you're actually going to go to heaven, but only if you follow on all 10 of these commandments. That's it. So that is sort of like the mentality that needs to be adapted. Right? So you need to adopt rather the mentality that says you're not trying to win the league right now. You're just focusing on the next game, right? In the next game and the next game. When you look up, I mean, the league is gonna come to the season is gonna end either way, right? But there's gonna be another season that actually restarts after this one. So your main objective is to look down, focus on the day. So which is why when when there's a stage where someone has been struggling, let's say with some negative behavior or some behavior that is not really productive or adding value to their trading, let's say using no stop loss, for example, okay, or using big lot sizes. The aim is not to say, okay, I'm never going to use big stop losses, or rather big lot sizes again for a small account. The aim is to say, all right, for today, my aim or my objective is to use the correct lot size. Okay, so you focus on today. Boom, you get that done today. You check it off your list. Right. So that's the only way that you change bad habits into good habits. Not by saying, okay, I'm never ever gonna. Let's say if you on a diet, you're trying to go on a diet, I'm never gonna eat chocolate again. Right. Just survive the day without chocolate. Right? That's it. If you don't, put a tick there. Next day, same thing. Boom. Go on for 3 days. Right. Pat yourself on the back. Go for 7 days. Pat yourself on the back. Go for 30 days. That's basically it. So if you follow what we actually do on a consistent basis, not just once when you're actually feeling good, but every single day, even when you don't feel like it, because trust me, no one likes waking up, especially when you don't have to wake up. There's times where you're like, okay, I know no one is going to call me and say, why aren't you at the office, or why aren't you working? I mean, it's very difficult to wake up when I used to think it was difficult to wake up and go to someone else's place of work and actually work for them. But it's more difficult when you don't necessarily have to wake up, when no one is behind you back and calling you and say, hey, you need to wake up, you need to be at work. So that's even more difficult. So that needs to be sort of like the sort of approach that you need to take, especially when it comes to markets, which is why I emphasize that the trading plan needs to be part and parcel of your strategy. Okay, I would say even before you start worrying about candlestick patterns and moving averages and Fibonacci's and all that other stuff, just go through what a trading plan actually is, right? Make sure that you understand its purpose, because if you don't understand its purpose, then when you're doing it, you're going to be like 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes, you're like, yeah, this is not really necessary. Let me go back to my candlestick patterns, my magical candlestick patterns. and my Magic Ichimoku clouds. So once you find that, you take up time. Like I said, I mean, if you can't carve out 1 hour, right? 1 hour a day, not just listening to me because I like to keep the sessions very short, right? A lot of guys don't understand why the sessions are like 20 minutes, sometimes like 15 or 30 minutes. That's not the most important thing. The most important thing is for you to actually do the things that are gonna get you towards the outcome. All right. The learning part is just one part of it. Learning something new is very nice. I mean, our human brains are designed to look to learn some new stuff each and every time, which is why if I say today in the Telegram channel, okay, I've got this new strategy, guys, that I'm going to be teaching tomorrow in tomorrow's session, and yeah, if you want to come through, just let me know. We're going to have every single person in the Telegram channel right today actually said telling me, yeah, I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there, because it's sort of like if I get something new or the strategy is improved or whatever the case may be, it's going to yield better results, but that's not always the case. So, I mean, like I said, today is just our open session. Since the market isn't really doing what we'd like it to do, so we're not going to be doing any sort of analysis. Um, from my end, I mean, this last week was my last week of trading for the year. Trust everyone had like a really solid one, guys. I mean, the markets have been good. I won't lie there; they have been good. So, if the most important thing about how we approach 2020, right? Because we're going into a new year, right? And the one thing that we need to start thinking about more deeply is how do we then look at our trading? Because a lot of people are too short-minded when it actually comes to the markets, right? They're trying to solve temporary financial problems for now instead of trying to build something that is going to last, for decades and decades from now. And if you focus just on the short term, right, if that's your only objective, I mean, you're going to be susceptible to a lot of emotions. There's going to be a lot of up and down, right? Frustration. But if you are long term oriented, if you're looking at this as, okay, this is my profession from now on, this is where I make my millions, my billions, whatever the case may be, then your approach, even the way that you actually trade, will be much, much, much deeper than what most people are. Because most people are just looking at temporary solutions here, right? They're looking at this as something that's just gonna solve whatever problems or situations that they might have right now. But look at it long term. Take the long term view. Write down, let's say 5 years from now, where you want to be actually with your trading, right? You can even go and look at outcome goals, all right? Outcome based goals where you're looking at, okay, this is how much I want to be making, right? But I'd rather you have something that is going to be sort of like a situation of how your life will actually look, rather, right? Will I be trading from home? Do I want to be trading from an office? Do I want to have employees? Do I want to manage money? Do I want to have my own accounts? Do I want to spend probably 2 or 3 hours trading a day? Is do I want to move to? Because one of my initial thoughts was, okay, I just want to move to a farm, not that isolated, but just live on a farm, just get some internet access there and just trade and just make some money from there, right? Just buy up a farm and then do that. But obviously, as time went by, I mean, those sort of objectives changed. But the whole idea is to move away from the immediate situation, because that can be very emotional. What you want to do is you just look at the long term vision. Okay, what do you want this trading to actually provide for you? Right? Sustainable life. You want to make, let's say you want to draw out 100 grand a month. I mean, that sounds like a pretty decent amount of money. And from there, you'll then find a way to break everything down into those much smaller incremental goals where you're like, okay, this week I focus on this, or this day I focus on this. And by the time you look up, you're like, okay, I'm already halfway to where I'm supposed to be. Okay. So, I mean, I don't think we've had a session like this before. I doubt we have in all the months that we've been together. But I just felt it necessary because I mean we're learning all these new things and moving averages and your Fibonacci retracements, all these nice techniques about how to take advantage of market volatility and stuff like that. But I mean, no one really trades just to be looking at these charts and all that stuff. We trade because what trading can potentially provide us with, which is for some people, comfortable lifestyle. Some people want wealth. Some people just want to be super, super rich so they can stand on a Range Rover and throw some money at people. I mean, whatever blows your horn, whatever makes you happy should be what you actually get. But obviously the work, you need to put in the work and yeah, focus on the things that will get you there, right? Do watch day one, right? Every day must be day one. There's no like, okay, I have 1 year's experience in trading, or now I'm a master, I have 3 years experience in trading. Every day must feel like this is your first day, right? You're learning, you're adjusting, and you are doing the same things that you were doing in the beginning that actually made you successful. Because if you change, which I have, and for long periods of time, and I was frustrated because sometimes you feel like I don't need to follow my trading plan anymore. I already know this stuff. I mean, that's when the market's gonna get you. As soon as you feel like, okay, I already got this, then the market's gonna get you, whether it be in almost everything that you can think of. If a fighter, professional boxer, for example, says, "Oh no, I got this. I know how to box. I don't need to train anymore." That's when things fall apart. Similar to how being a trader actually works, the work needs to be done. So, like I said, you need to carve out your 45 minutes. That's going to be, I mean, I can say an hour. Just carve out your holy hour. Make sure you dedicate something towards it. I mean, there's audiobooks, guys. There's videos that you can go on through to my channel. There's blogs, right? I haven't blogged in a while, but there's blogs on the website you can actually go through. There's a lot of stuff you can do, and the simulator. Those are all important things that you need to get done, but you have to start from somewhere. And my suggestion is start with the trading plan. Right, it's going to be an eye opener. It's going to give you an idea of where you should be going and how then you actually going to get there. And once you have clarity, it's much easier to hit a target that you actually have. Once you have a target, then it's much easier to actually hit it. You know when you've reached it, and you know when you're slacking off from it. And you're going to have the necessary habits every single day, right? Not just once when you're feeling good and you've watched the Les Brown video, but every single day, whether you feel like it or you don't feel like it, you're doing whatever small incremental things that are actually going to get you to the end result. I mean, that's essentially what you need to focus on. Okay. I think we have about a minute left, guys. Yeah, I think we have about a minute left. I mean, this is okay. We are gonna see each other tomorrow, so there's no need for me to sort of like close off the year. Like I said, I mean, I'll be here when the fireworks go off. Probably be working or something, but I mean that's something that I do enjoy. I'm not asking everyone to be the same, but I trust you guys have a fantastic evening. Just thought I should change things up a bit. Okay, if you guys have any questions, shoot through your questions on the Telegram channel and on the WhatsApp as well. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 7 p.m. for the advanced session. I think we're gonna be doing moving averages, right? We're gonna just be focusing on the moving averages and how it applies to the actual strategy tomorrow. Okay. So trust everyone has a wonderful evening and cheers, guys.